Hey guys, good morning or good afternoon, or depending on what part of the globe or location you're at. So today I want to do another video and I want to talk about, been getting a lot of emails about how to defeat or how to clear negative energy or toxic individuals, toxic energy. This is what I want to talk about today. I'm going to give you some really good tips and methods for you to use so that you can eliminate and clear away any negative or toxic energy individuals in your life. All right, so the key is we all are surrounded by negative energy, negative individuals. Remember, our cells have polarity. Polarity in our cells basically mean we have both spectrums, positive and negative. Now there's some individuals that are just positive individuals, and that's because of how they were taught to believe, their mindset, how they were programmed, the things they think, how they view the world. They uplift themselves. And also there are some individuals that are negative individuals, and they are more on the lower end of the spectrum because same thing, how they're taught with their beliefs, their program, their environment, etc., etc. So the first clue or the first tip we must realize is that there are different levels of consciousness. Okay, you have a low, intermediate, high level of consciousness. So that's the first tip we have to know. Next, we have to know how energy works. Okay, everything gives off energy, an electromagnetic pulse. Okay, every single thing, your thoughts, you, me, anything you can imagine, it gives off energy. But here's the thing now, the energy that vents, it's picked up by your subconscious mind. So you may not be consciously aware, it's your subconscious, and every individual and all the collective consciousness, they pick up on each individual subconscious energy. So that's the first thing we must be aware of, that we're always giving off energy. All right, next one, how about your body cells, your structure? Okay, on a quantum level, how does energy affect you? Well, we all have what are known as electromagnetic or our electromagnetic creative energy or creative magnetic energy. This is the energy we all use to create our reality, to attract to our thoughts, everything we perceive. This is the energy we use. Okay, now we also have another energy. It's kind of like a backup energy. It's stored within our cells. Okay, and this energy is known as a latent energy. Okay, so that's stored within your cells, your body cells. So here's what happens. Anytime you have negative energy or toxic energy, people, individuals, they start to affect you. Here's what happens. You allow now and you bypass your creative magnetic energy because you enter the conscious mind of the rational and thinking ego. Okay, so when you enter that mind now, you're literally stealing or depleting your cells' latent energy. So what happens now? Your cells' polarity now, they will weaken. If their cells' polarity weaken, they don't have that magnetic or that electromagnetic barrier to protect your cells from other negative things, diseases, the flu, sickness. If you notice individuals who are very toxic or they're negative, notice one pattern they have within their system or their lives. What is it? They're always ill. Something's always wrong. They're either depressed, they're complaining, they've got body aches, they're always sick. Well, here's why. Now you know why they're always ill, because they're robbing subconsciously. They're taking their energy from their latent supply energy, which is your cells, and they have to use it to push out, to correspond, or to make that connection. So this is how individuals' energy can affect you, and it affects you too. So the first thing you guys want to realize is this. Number one, always remember that every energy affects you and I, but to the extent you allow it to. Okay? Yes, we're all affected by energy, but it's to the extent we allow someone or some toxic individuals to affect us. So that's number one. You have control. So what is it Mark saying in layman terms? I'm telling you now that you have control of energy, of individuals' energy impacting you. See, energy can impact you, but you have control on how you can react and how you can take charge and basically block it, so to speak. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the cellular function of how negative energy impacts you. So that negative energy, it affects your cells. Okay, so now your cells' polarity get weak. So now cells' polarity are in charge of also processing information to your neurons, basically those between lines where you get brain cell signals. Okay, now your neuron synapses and those electromagnetic signals get weakened. If they get weakened now, your mind is not able to process and think the way you would like to think. So negative individuals are toxic people. What do they do to you? Well, they upset you, you get your blood pressure up, your heart rate starts racing, you start thinking irrational, you make bad decisions, you make mistakes. There's the effect. Also, toxic individuals, they can literally slow you down from manifesting your desires. Because why? Because now you're no longer focusing on that subconscious higher mind. Now you're into the ego mind. So let's talk about the personalities of individuals and how you know that you may have a toxic individual. Okay, so we have to know individuals' personality types. Okay, so we have individuals that may have narcissistic personality, sociopath personality. Okay, a narcissist is to the full extent. So here's a big tip: if you are having an experience, or your mate or some part of your family member might be a narcissist. Here's narcissists in statistics, or narcissist personalities. A narcissist is an individual that believes everything revolves around them. Okay, they believe that you are there to help them. Okay, they believe, what can I get from you? Okay, that's a narcissist. They have very rational and very intuitive thinking mind, rather not intuitive, but they have a very rational thinking mind. They'll actually use their mind against you. In other words, they can make you feel guilty. They're the individuals that make you feel guilty, that makes you feel like you're the problem, and it makes themselves the victim. And a narcissist is always an individual who's always have something going on in their lives. There's always negative, toxic. They believe the world revolves around them. They believe that you're there to serve them, so to speak, and they make you feel inferior. Okay, sociopath is on the same level, but a sociopath individual is more cunning and they're more deliberate. Narcissists, their ultimate goal is to feed off of your energy. Okay, that's number one. So how do I stop, or how do I remove or block negative individuals? Some of them may be your family members. Well, here's number one. Talked about it earlier. Have an awareness to know that energy affects you, but you allow it to a certain extent. Okay. Number two, the ego is the driving force of all negative energies. Let me repeat that. The ego mind is the driving force. Here's what happens. If you engage with toxic individuals, okay, if you engage in the argument and they come in and they want to start something up and you start to engage, that's what they want subconsciously, because now you're creating that energy. You're creating that negative energy, you're creating momentum, they feed off of that. So number one, you must stop engaging. The ego mind always loves to justify itself. It wants to be correct, it wants to be right. So you have to stop. So how do I stop, Mark? I'll give you a big tip. If you notice you're about to engage in some negative individuals or toxic individuals and they want to start something up, you must stop, take a deep breath, okay, and have the awareness to realize, wait a minute, this is my ego wants to justify, I want to be right. So what? If your ego wants to be right, so what? It doesn't matter. It's not going to get you what you want. It's not going to move you forward towards manifesting or creating your ultimate goal. It's just going to get you what you want to feel and justify the ego in that moment. So that's number one. Stop it. Okay, do not engage. Remember, where there's no oxygen, fire dies. Anything where there's no thought, where there's no focus, it dissipates. Whatever you put your attention to and focus, you will create momentum. Whatever you take your attention and focus from will dissipate. So leads me to my next thing. Let it go. When negative people or negative toxic people are trying to start things with you or try to get you wound up, you must dissipate. You must disengage. In other words, don't pay it any mind. Ignore it. Let it go. Because what will happen is negative toxic energy or individuals, they'll literally burn themselves out. Because remember, they rely on your energy to respond, to create their energy. So if you're not feeding into that, they have no energy and they're going to withdraw themselves and they're going to leave. Okay, that's the other end. Now, what's another key? You must realize different levels of consciousness. You know, individuals have different levels of consciousness. You know, some individuals, their mind aren't there yet, so to speak. They haven't gotten to that level of awareness. So, you know, we all wonder, why is he doing this? Why is she doing that? Why is it? Listen, it's not your job to figure that out. Just realize that, hey, my job is to keep myself from getting this person's toxic energy from affecting me. That's all. It's not your job to try to fix them or try to figure them out or say, why is he doing it? As we explained, each individual vibrates at different levels of consciousness. That's all there is to it, because of how they were brought and taught to go up. So in other words, when a toxic individual or a negative individual is interacting with you, they literally believe that what they're doing is right, because that's what they were taught. See? So always remember, here's another big thing to keep in mind, guys. Toxic and negative energy, they always will vibrate and attract the same type of energy. like attract like, okay? So you don't want to associate or be around negative because they'll drag you in. So what do you want to do now? Next tip, you must start to associate yourself with positive minded individuals. Bring yourself around things that inspire you. Surround yourself with people who have the same goals, dreams, desires as you. Watch programs, anything that can lift your vibration. These are things that will help you to break that negative bond, okay? Now, what else you can do to break toxic individuals and keep negative energy? You must meditate. Each time you find yourself surrounded or affected by negative individuals and you feel that energy coming on, take a deep breath. Remember what I said, take a deep breath and realize and say, wait a minute, this energy cannot affect me unless I allow it to, okay? So now you say, calmly take a deep breath. When these individuals are attacking or putting negative energy to you, just take a deep breath and just say within your mind, I only allow thoughts that make me feel good to enter my mind. This is how you're going to dissipate and remove these negative individuals or negative energy, so to speak. Okay, because remember, energy vibrates at different weights or different bandwidths on the electromagnetic spectrum scale. So a negative energy is very slow moving scale. It's very slow moving bandwidth. So negative people or energy, they tend to stay there. They tend to concentrate more. Okay, high vibration energies now, they move at a faster bandwidth. I mean, they're faster, more effective. So that's where you want to keep yourself. So the keys, guys, is to remove individuals from your circle. I mean, do not get into the feud. Do not engage in what they want you to engage in. Because when you engage, you're feeding them and you're eliminating your creative magnetic energy. Remember that. That's what negative energy or toxic individuals want. They want you to interact. They want you to start that, and you don't do that. You realize that, wait a minute, remember this, where there is no spark, no fire, no oxygen, no fire. Always remember that. Where you put your thought and mind to, it creates momentum and it manifests. Wherever you take your mind and thought from, it dissipates. Remember that. That's the driven force of toxic individuals. That's the driven force of their ego mentality. Okay? Also, here's another big tip. Do not let individuals that don't believe or in alignment or have the positive high vibrations of you towards your desires and manifestation. In other words, don't tell everybody what you're desiring to manifest. Do not do that. Okay? Especially negative, toxic individuals. You must keep your desires within yourself, or you must share it with individuals who have the same mind-like mentality as you, so that you can create and attract more. Because here's how it works. Each individual, we all have that two minds. Let's talk about the two minds, the conscious and the subconscious mind. So if you're going around and say you desire to win the lottery, and you're telling everybody at work, okay, everybody say, oh yes, that's great, that's great. You know, there's some individuals there, they'll say, oh, that's great, that's great. But deep within their subconscious mind, they don't like that. So their subconscious mind now, energy, or their energy now starts to affect yours, because deep down they don't like it. They're upset because they don't have what they want, or their life is not the way they want it. So their ego takes over and says, you ain't gonna win, or so these can create a little bit of a block. So keep your desires to yourself until it manifests, or share it with the same individuals that are in line with you on the same purpose. Because the beauty of this is, once you surround yourself with the same individuals or the same type of persons that have the same belief paradigm as you, you create what we call momentum now, critical mass, and that will uplift your energy. Your energy now creates more energy. Before you know it, you get manifestation, or you allow things to come into your reality. So that's the big key, guys. Always remember that, okay? Your energy is very important. Keep your energy. Energy is gold. Always remember, my energy is gold, because this is the energy you use to create your creative magnetic energy. Okay, that's what you use to manifest your thoughts. So do not allow toxic or negative individuals to steal it. So remember, negative individuals or toxic individuals, they're on different spectrums. So remember, it's not my job to figure them out. It's only my job to figure and protect my energy. That's number one. Number two, realize and have the awareness that each individual exists on a different level of spectrum of consciousness. Okay, that's number two. Number three, keep in mind that if you allow toxic individuals to affect you, they'll affect your cells, your power to create. You don't want that. Number four, disengage from the argument. You don't have to be right. You don't have to justify it. That's what negative and toxic individuals want. Okay, so number 5, meditate. When you find yourself, take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, and say these words: I only allow positive thoughts or feelings that make me feel good to enter my mind. Therefore, you will negate and you'll cut off that supply. Okay, and number 6, surround yourself with information, stories, books, anything that is in agreement with what you're manifesting or what you're achieving within your reality. All right, guys. So that's all. These are ways you can really eliminate and distance negative individuals. Now, you know, you have many individuals that live with you, your spouse. It's the same method. You know, if your spouse or your family members do not believe what you're doing, don't say it, man. You don't have to tell them. You're not entitled to. It's your reality. We each create our own. It's what you're desiring. It's what you're manifesting. Okay, once you manifest it and it shows, then you can tell it. But if you're not, keep in mind, a lot of us aren't as strong yet, so they can affect you if they say, "Oh, it's never going to happen. You can't do it. It won't work." There you go. Now you start to vibrate low. You lose hope. You lose confidence, and you cut off your own desires. So always keep things within yourself, or only tell it to individuals that you know believe the same belief spectrum as you, and therefore you will create it. Okay, because remember, on everything we do, we are all emitting energetic signatures subconsciously, high and low, and you want to stay on the high spectrum of that consciousness. And there's always going to be toxic individuals around. Okay, they're always going to come around, because remember, the beauty here's a good in the what I call the double-edged sword of being a high vibrational individual. High vibration individuals are positive individuals. They exhibit such high energy that everything wants to be a part of it, even the negative energy. They envy it. They envy you because of how high your vibration is. So they want to kind of suck that energy. So that's how it is when you have really high energy individual. So you have to keep that in mind, that I must protect my energy, because even low vibrational individuals will seek to what we call steal or emit some of your energy. Just a simple fact, guys. As human beings, as individuals, we all want the same thing. Everybody wants to be happy, successful. Well, and if you see somebody that's doing success and happy and they're not, then it's a natural tendency for the ego to get jealous, envious, hate, and grudging. Okay? And that's individuals you want to avoid. How do you trump all these individuals? Here's a big T. By giving gratitude to them, just being happy for who you are. Here's another one. Forgiveness. This is the ultimate energy to nullify negative energy. Just forgive. You must forgive any individual that have done you wrong. Because if you don't forgive that individual, you are still under their control, my friend, and you become the victim. Okay? Once you forgive, you release all the energy. Because guess what? There's nothing that can hold you now. You're free. You can float and you can attract more. See, that's the hidden message right there. Forgiveness. You have to forgive. It's a very high energetic frequency. What else is very high? Also, love. You have to learn to give love. Even when individuals do wrong or bad, forgive them. Because remember, it's not about them. Really, it's about you. It's about protecting, releasing your energy or your creative magnetic energy so that you can attract more. So the biggest key, guys, is to forgive. Throughout your whole life, anybody that's done you wrong, you must forgive right now. If you forgive them right this minute, you have released toxic energy that was holding you back. You no longer becomes a victim, and you're no longer their prisoner, so to speak. They have no more power over you. All right? So those are some tips. Because remember, every single version or every single energy spectrum, they have their own unique frequency bandwidths. Okay? Forgiveness, high frequency. Love, extremely high. Gratitude, extremely high. See, everything vibrates at certain frequencies, and within these certain frequencies, there exist minute different signature variations of the frequency. So they each got their own certain channels or certain bandwidths, so to speak. Same thing with negative energy. Hate is very strong. Grudge, okay, fear, doubt, jealousy, they all vibrate at that same spectrum, but on their polarity level. So you want to have the awareness to keep your energy at the highest by practicing gratitude, forgiveness, okay, disengaging, and recognizing and realizing that the ego is a mind of rationality and thinking. Because it can think, it forms opinions. It's not you. The ego just wants to justify itself just because it can think. That's all. The ego can think, so it thinks, I can do this, I have this, I deserve this. And here's the number one factor. I want to touch on the ego real fast. Here's the number one reason the ego creates what it creates and creates this negative loop. Because the ego really wants to achieve what it cannot achieve because of its limitations. Okay? It wants to achieve what it wants to achieve because of its limitations. So what does it want to achieve? It wants to achieve the same thing the higher mind wants to achieve. But because it's driven in a survival mechanism, and what happens, it figures it cannot create its own, so to speak, reality. Because remember, subconscious creates the reality, the ego maintains the reality. So because the ego cannot create, it formulates and comes up with all these different things to tell you how your life should be, limitation, what you cannot do, who you are. It creates jealousy, envy, has to justify itself. And these are things your ego believes it will suit itself to create its reality. So keep that in mind. You are not the ego. It's not the real you, and a lot of toxic individuals are governed and controlled by that ego. Okay, so these are some big tips for you today to eliminate and remove toxic energy, negative individuals. You can raise your vibration and you can manifest and get what you want faster. All right, so keep that in mind, guys. Also, vibrational numbers, guys, please, you can get them through the website www.markahan.com. That's where we're doing the vibrations. Everything is going excellent. You guys keep up the excellent job. And remember, biggest tip for your energy, guys, is to remember, practice gratitude, forgiveness, okay, and have the awareness that the ego is not you, and also it's not your job to fix or figure people out. It's your job to protect your energy and move on so that you can create and manifest your desires. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll keep another content coming. And the next one, we'll focus more on the ego, show you guys how to really disengage that ego or expose it, so to speak, so you can move forwards to your desires. All right, thank you guys, and have a great day.